Hi everyone, this is Lord coming at you from Break Zone with another deck tech video. This one going over the Ice Earth deck that Brian Burckley took to win out the Seattle Crystal Cup just a couple weeks ago. And in case you don't know, the name of the deck is I've been spending too much time with Matt Okimoto from the Meta Potion circuit. Brian Burckley is one of his teammates. And here's another Ice Earth deck, one of the creations of Matthew Okimoto, who is infamous for playing Ice Earth because that seems to be the his best element combination that he can come up with. And this deck actually focuses on a lot of Rinoa of the Rinoa engine, as well as Vanille Hekaton Care package. So in case you want to see this deck in action, go ahead and check out the stream of the Seattle Crystal Cup from the Top Cup Day 2 matches that I was commentating on along with RB. And let's go over some of the cards that got Brian his 3-round bye after, well, participating in so many other Crystal Cups where he got trophies, but the third time's a charm, and this one comes with 3-round buys. So, first up, I've got Nidhogg. Anybody familiar with Opus 6 remembers Nidhogg as being so powerful, especially when you combine it with Rinoa. So I'll go over Rinoa a little bit later. Next up, we've got Cecil, who is great as an AX burst, who's on curve at 5 drop 9k, and being able to take out Dull Force based on the amount of damage you've taken is quite relevant, as this deck is more of a mid-range to a little bit of a later game plan where you're trying to just swing in. And while this card is just so efficient, so effective at taking on a lot of the aggressive meta that you might be facing. Okay, next up we've got Vayne, who helps you take care of Nidhogg, Cloud of Darkness, Cecils, what have you that your opponent might have. Vanille is a key part of this deck, along with the 6 Hekaton Cures, all the ones that you can legally play in this deck. Really good against aggressive decks when they might try to swing in or party attack, bluff from Mateus if they're turbo discard, things like that. Or if they're playing Lightning, they're going to have a lot of problems trying to deal with the Vanille because you'll be able to just remove a copy of Hekaton Cure from your deck from the game in order to just bring her right back. Next up, we've got Rinoa, who works with all of your forwards except for, well, one of them herself, and Wall. All of the actually Vanille, Wall, and Wall are the only two forwards that do not have enter the field abilities, but other than that, Rinoa is going to be able to combo with all the other ones. Next up, we've got Wall, who is effective, who is just great in any Earth deck. If you're playing an Earth deck, you probably should be playing 2 or 3 Walls. I would probably assume 3 Walls would be the right number, though. Next up, we've got Genesis, who is one of the cards that people were debating whether or not to ban, but that was just, fan community assumptions. But in reality, Genesis is amazing. I believe you'll be able to get a copy of Genesis in one of the upcoming 2-player starter deck sets that's going to be coming out in, I think it's late October or early November. So in case you haven't gotten your hands on Genesis, go ahead and buy all those decks and get your own copy that way, as well as some of the other cards that are available in that deck. I think it's like Fat Chocobo, Legendary Vivi. I mean, they have quite a few other ones that are quite potent. I'll be getting a copy of it myself for once. Well, as usual, actually, I usually get a copy of every starter deck. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the new cards coming out too. Next up, we've got Celis, 3-over. You do have Gestalian Empire Sid to be able to search her out, and her ability to cancel out summons can be quite relevant, as a lot of people tend to rely on summons in order to do combat tricks and finish a game or save themselves. And Runig is going to be able to stop all of that, as well as her ability to deal damage to dull forwards when she deals damage to an opponent is going to work in combination with Sid Reigns and Glass Yellow Bullets, for example. Next up, we've got Sarah, who is one of the targets that you can choose when you look for a Final Fantasy 13 forward with your Mach 13-2. And so is Cycleman Forcer, actually. If you read the category that it's from is Theater Rhythm 13. And next up, we've got Delita, who works oh so well with so many of your forwards to be able to take out opposing forwards. And he himself is quite durable, as if, for example, a Oliva decides to target Delita for damage, well, if he tries to, he's going to take 3 pings for Delita to be taken out, because every time you target him, he's going to get just a little bit bigger. And if you use Delita in combination with, let's say, Sid Reigns or Vanille, you can really do some damage to your opponent in terms of card advantage. With the Sid Reigns, you'll be able to, if you play a Sid Reigns followed by a Delita, you will be able to force your opponent to discard a card from their hand. And if you play Delita along with Vanille, then you'll actually be able to remove another copy of Hecaton Kid from the game in order to bring Vanille right back while they lose a 4-cost forward, which is usually the backbone of a deck. Okay. Next up, we've got Emperor, who's really good against Vikings. And last but not least, we've got Sid Reigns. Anybody familiar with him? Well, he's still good. Okay, next up, we're going to go over some of the summons. Starting off with Glacial Bolas. Still an amazing card, but you only have so much room as you put in the whole 6 Hecaton Care package. You don't want to fill out too many summons sometimes, and 8 or 9 usually is a pretty good number. I've seen as low as 5, but when you're running the Hecaton Care package, while you still want to play Glacial Bolas, you only have room for so many. Next up, we have Hecaton Care, who's really good against, well, all those Rinoa Devout tricks that you might see around. Or, well, in the case if you watch the stream, there was an opponent that actually played a 5-cost Lulu and had to pay the price as Hecaton Care came down and took it out. And last but not least, for summons, we've got 2-drop Hecaton Care, who is still a great fight card, taking out opposing forwards, especially if you have any of the combat tricks, or, I mean, if you want to take out a 7k with a Vanille and have her be dull afterwards, that's even like, you don't really mind as it, well, actually you have to count her lives, and you have to be careful about how many Hecaton Cares you use up on Vanille, because otherwise you might just run out. Okay. Next up, we're going to go over some of the backups. Time Mage being able to recur, well, most of your forwards having entered the field ability, but especially Rinoa on Nidhogg, and being able to Time Mage her on Nidhogg again is just ridiculous. Okay, Emina is going to be able to punish your opponent if they're being a little too aggressive, and if they're ever dull, they don't even have to deal damage to you at that point. You'll be able to use her her ability in order to just straight break those forwards. Okay. Next up, we've got Tama. So you'll notice most of the backups are one of, except the ones that are not unique, that aren't named Shantoto. Okay, Shantoto, there's 2 of them, because Shantoto can be just straight amazing when you're trying to catch up and your opponent goes way too aggressive on you, just slams down all their cards, all their forwards, and can get heavily punished with a Shantoto. You have no way to search it out, and sometimes you just need it. So as I go over some of the backups, not all of them have specific uses and specific reasons why they're there. By that I mean not like I won't be going over every single matchup in which they're good, because what happens is most of them will be 2-drop backups that you're able to break, and will clog up your hand if you don't need them, and will clog up your board, because if you want to, you'll be able to break them and make room for other backups. But this deck doesn't have too many backups that stick around that you have to worry about. Besides, well, Midphilia, Mog, Mask Woman, and Consolidated Empire Sid, and that's used at your risk, I guess you could say. But for the most part, most of these will be 2-drop breakable backups that have some very good abilities that come along with it that can be quite niche, but early on you really want to build up your backups, and later on in the game you might want to break them to make room for them. Okay, for example, we've got, well, Tama is going to be able to pull shenanigans during your opponent's turn, as well as during your attack phase. If, for example, well, I'm not even going to give out every example, but you have plenty of enter the field abilities, and Tama is going to be able to make use of those. Black Mage is going to be able to work in combination with, let's say, your Celis, your Sid Reigns, or your Glacial Bolas. Scholar, it only doesn't have that many targets, actually. We're talking about Sarah, the Emperor, and Sid Reigns only. Monk is going to be able to give you a little bit of a boost in case you're trying to get through your opponent. Monk Mobius is going to be able to search out forwards. Mask Movement, punish aggressive players. Monk 13-2 is going to be able to search out, as I mentioned earlier. You've got Vanille, Sarah, and Cyclone Enforcer, as well as Sid Reigns. Deshaun Empire Sid, searching out your Celis. Deval being able to recur, the main parts of your engine, your Renoas and your Genesises. Being able to do a combination of Renoa and Genesis can really hurt your opponent and open the way for you to swing in with all your other forwards. The minor engine is still here to recur whatever you haven't been able to get back with the Vault. Midfilia, another way to recur your forwards. For example, you want to get back a Nidhogg as well as a Renoa, go ahead, show your opponent that you're able to do so. And I did hear that somebody was able to pull off Jedi Mind Tricks, have their opponent play 2 Dart forwards when they had a Chaos in play, and they were facing down a Midfilia, and use that Midfilia to take out the Chaos, thus breaking 2 Dark forwards that were still in play while the Chaos was put in the break zone. Actually, it's not breaking the 2 Dark forwards, it's put the 2 Dark forwards in the break zone, as I don't think it's a break effect. It's actually a game state rule check that states that you can't have more than one either light or dark forward in play at the same time unless you have a card that allows you to have more than one at a time, such as Chaos and Spiritus. And last but not least, we got Chantudo. It's just your, in case of emergency, break last button in case your opponent goes a little, puts some forwards out there that are just too much for you to handle. And that makes up the deck, and hopefully you enjoy it and give it a shot. It's a very interesting deck. You have to know your matchup, you have to practice, and you have to know which cards are important in which matchup in order to be able to use this deck effectively. And if you like what we do, go ahead and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below. We've kind of been going over some of our giveaways. It's been a little while since we've actually announced who won what. We've hit over 700 subscribers, so we're inching closer to 1,000, and we're hoping to get there soon. But as a reminder, there's a couple cards, a couple things available as giveaways. We've got the Horizon Canopy from Modern Masters for Magic. We also had a Mox Opal. Sorry, the quality's there's a lot there. Cactuar sleeves. Anybody that I really like the character sleeves? Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, 1 second. The Lightning plushie still available, as well as Shiva deck box from the Toronto Crystal Cup, signed by Toru Kageyama, one of the producers of the game. So if you go ahead and subscribe, you will be entered in this current drawing, as well as any future drawing that we may have. And just to let people know, the current winner, from I had to kind of backdate it a little bit. 600 subscribers, we missed that one. So Matt Myers, you are our winner. You're one of the, I think it was like the first 50 or so subscribers to the channel. So thank you so much for your support. And go ahead and let us know in the comments or in the email. I'll actually post the email over in the description. Go ahead and let us know which item you want. Pick one of all the ones I've just shown, and it will be yours. We'll ship it, and you will have it. And since we already hit actually 700 subscribers, next winner is Sergio Olivia Moratino. Congratulations, man! You won. So hopefully all of you guys will be able to enjoy this content. Feel free to subscribe if you want to enter any of our future drawings and kind of support us. And go ahead and be alerted whenever we put out new content. We try to do it once a week, but it's kind of, life's been catching up. Let's just put it that way. So to end this up, Congratulations to Brian Burckley. You've got a 3-round bye. We'll catch you next week. You will be playing during the last chance qualifier, but we'll definitely see you day 1 and hopefully day 2 of the North America Championship. So hopefully you guys will be there as well to catch all the live stream action from Square Enix Present channel, and we'll catch you later.